Welcome back. Leap Enforcer Podcast, episode 25. Just wrapped up week 12 of the NFL season. NFC North didn't really change much. Lions handled business. Packers handled business. The Bears handled business. And the Vikings suck. So kind of jumping into those games real quick, I'm just going to kind of go over what we've seen. Picks-wise, we were 11-3. So we're 130, 47, and 1 on the season. So doing pretty damn good on those. Jump into some of the games. Texans, Bills. I had Bills winning that. Texans, they're starting to play. They're really good on defense. Mills, quarterback, is playing pretty solid right now, pretty reliable on offense, doing just enough to win. Buffalo, I don't know what's going on with that team. They just signed Brandon Cooks today, so maybe that'll help a little bit on offense, but their defense isn't good. Their offense looks off. So we'll see what happens moving forward with them. Chiefs, Colts. Chiefs pulled that out. I feel like we're getting into the time of year where, Mahomes and Andy Reid start to figure this stuff out, and we'll see what happens with the Chiefs, see if they can make it into the postseason. Seahawks handled the Titans. Lions squeaked by the Giants. Giants had that game in hand. They could have kicked a field goal late in the fourth and went up 6. They could have also ran the ball a couple times or ran some more of the clock out, forced Detroit to use up some of those timeouts before the 2-minute warning. They didn't do either one. They went for it on fourth, did not get it. Lions came back, tied it up, then won it in overtime. Jahmyr Gibbs had a monster game. He's arguably, top 2, top 3 running backs in the league right now. He's so fast. If he gets in an open field, he's dynamite. So Ravens handled the Jets. Bears beat the Steelers. No Aaron Rodgers in that game, so not too surprising. The result of that game with no Rodgers, they had to go with Mason Rudolph. So not surprised there. Patriots beat up on the Bengals. Jags beat the Cardinals. That was a pretty good game. That was a little bit back and forth. Jags come back and won that game by a field goal. Browns, Raiders. Shedeur Sanders got his first start. He looked okay. There's good things and bad things, but it was his first start, so we got to cut him a little bit of slack. I think he'll get better as the season goes on. Is he the answer there? I don't know. My opinion, no. But we got to give him a few games, at least the last 5 or 6 games, and see what he's able to do. I don't think him or Dylan Gabriel are the answer in Cleveland. I kind of feel like they may have to go draft another quarterback. Cowboys, Eagles. Cowboys won that game. I mean, they were down, I think 21-0 to the Eagles, and Cowboys came back and won that game. I almost feel like that game. I know A.J. Brown's been bitching and moaning about not getting the ball. The offense isn't right, yada, yada. I kind of feel like Jalen Hurts in that, later in the game or second half, let's say, just, you get a lead, 21-0. I would start trying to run the ball more. Saquon's not been able to get a run game going like he did last year. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they could have just tush-pushed all the way up and down the field if they wanted to and ran the clock, just kept the clock going and shortened the game. But they didn't. They decided to chuck it around. They were, trying to get the ball to AJ. I kind of felt like a lot of those throws were kind of forced to an extent, but I think it caused them, to lose this game in the end. And the Cowboys won 24-21. Cowboys defense looked okay. I mean, it's getting better. They added Quinnen Williams. He's been, helpful in the inside with Kenny Clark. So I do think that, they could make a run at the playoffs. I don't know if they'll make it, but I think they can make a run. I just don't think they'll, at the end of the day, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but we'll see. A lot of football left. So Saints, Falcons, that game was kind of a snooze fest. 2 really bad teams. Falcons pulled that off. Rams, Bucks Sunday night was more of a blowout than I thought. The two things I took away from that game. Rams right now are the most complete team in football. It's not even close. They're the most consistent. They're playing the best. I don't know who you can argue that's playing better right now than the Rams. And Matthew Stafford has to be the front runner for MVP. He, a lot of people didn't know if he was going to play this year with his back, and he's been just playing lights out. He's got Puka, he's got Devontae, he's got a great running game with Kyron and Blake Corum. Their defense is just it's amazing. They can beat you in the front. They can get to the quarterback. They can beat you in the secondary. You got to be cautious where you're throwing the ball. I mean, they picked Baker multiple times. The Baker got hurt, didn't play the second half. That game was like completely dominated by the Rams. So a little surprising. I thought the Rams would have. I mean, sorry. I thought the Bucs would have gave a little bit more fight, but Rams just beat up on them. And then the Niners-Panthers game last night, that was kind of an ugly game. It started off really good for San Fran. They went up 7-0, marched right down the field. Brock Purdy looked great. I texted a buddy of mine. I'm like, hey, man, your Niners looking good. You know, if Brock can come back and play, you know, his normal game, I think you guys might be okay, you know, moving forward. As soon as I send that text, man, it was like, pick. I'm like, geez. So I don't know what's going on with Brock. I don't know if he's trying to work himself back into this, but you know, the Niners beat up on the Panthers. Panthers aren't a great team. Their offense isn't that great. Bryce Young had a kind of a knucklehead turnover, right? I mean, they were about to score, and he just threw a pick. It was kind of, I don't know, senseless. But I don't know. It was the Niners. We'll see. Both those teams are kind of fighting for playoff spots. I got more faith in the Niners than I do the Panthers. I don't trust the Panthers at this point. They got a good defense, but I don't trust their offense. So, and then lastly, Packers, Vikings, holy cow. First off, J.J. McCarthy, like I've said, is the absolute worst quarterback in the NFL, and it's not even close. It's not even close. And actually, if you want to go, I have a stat here, a couple stats here. Let's go over these couple stats. And I'm not hating on the dude because I'm a Michigan guy, but at the same time, he's like, I'll call it like I see it. And McCarthy's, he's a garbage quarterback. He's terrible. I don't know why people would think he's good. I don't know why Minnesota would want to take him so early in the first round. I kind of got a feeling they might need another quarterback next year. Like, what do they do at this point? Do they go get Kyler? Do they go, you know, because I think Kyler Murray is going to be on the move in Arizona. Might make sense, but, I mean, he couldn't do anything with Marvin Harrison. So, like, how is that going to go with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson and all those guys? So, but anyways, jump into some of this McCarthy stuff. In the game, he was 12 for 19, 87 yards, and 2 picks. His QBR was 34.2. If J.J. McCarthy dropped back and threw the ball in the ground, spiked the ball in the ground, his QBR would have been 39.6. It's kind of funny. So it's worse than him dropping back and just throwing the ball on the ground. The other thing I seen on him was he was ranked 851 out of 852 quarterbacks. I believe this stat was from 2000, I believe is what I seen. And they're grading off EPA, which is expected points added. So what that means is essentially like when he drops back, what percentage of like what the points that he'll probably like get the team to like score. So the higher the points, the better. He was like negative every time he dropped back the ball. I think it was like negative 0.3 every time he dropped back, you know, to throw the ball. There's only one quarterback that's ranked lower in EPA than McCarthy. Another bust, Jamarcus Russell. So it's, I mean, he's bad, and there's just no way around it. He's just a bad quarterback. And I get, you know, he's a rookie. He hasn't had much time. He's been hurt. You know, like this game, he took a hit. I think it was McDuffie. They said that on the plane ride home, he went into concussion protocol after the game on the way home. There was one play late in the game. McDuffie hit him, and he kind of like laid down there for a second, and Hawkinson came over and helped him get up. I think that's when, if it happened, it happened at that play. But, you know, he's not, he doesn't see the field. He doesn't make decisions. I feel like he's trying to be too cautious, and it's caused him to hold on to the ball. He was getting hit like crazy against Green Bay. So I don't know. I don't know if it's, you know, he had a high ankle sprain that lasted forever. It was always some injury with him. And I feel like right now, I think Kevin O'Connell is just to a point where he's like, hey man, like, you know, maybe he wants to just pull him out, kind of protect his confidence, kind of protect, you know, him as a player and see, you know, what direction they want to go. Cause right now, I mean, he's the worst quarterback in the league by far. But during this game, I mean, Parsons, the defense was all over them guys. All over McCarthy. I mean, Parsons was blowing up the offensive line. He was running over the center. You know, Parsons had 2 sacks. Devontae Wyatt had some sacks. Like the defense just played extremely well. We lost Keyshawn Nixon early in the game. Hadden played, pretty good for us in the secondary, and but with having, we don't have a lot of depth at corner, so having Nixon out is not the most, the best thing going into Detroit, especially him and Hobbs being out, even though Hobbs has not played like well at all. Carrington Valentine's played extremely well. He played, he's been, I feel like, our number one corner. So, when we get that pass rush going, it kind of takes the burden off these guys. But, going into Detroit, I hope we have Nixon back. I hope we have Hobbs back, and then have Melton and we have Valentine. So I think that'll be our core, but I hope we get him back and healthy because we'll need him against Detroit. And then kind of looking at a couple other things here. One thing on Parsons, which is kind of cool, this was he's got 10 sacks again this season. This is 5 seasons in a row, his first 5 seasons in a row that he's had 10 or more sacks. Only other player in NFL history to do it is none other than Reggie White. Arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive player of all time. So Parsons is, in elite company. He's the only other one to do this. So, he's starting off, phenomenal. He's also on the season, he's had 20 QB hits and 60 QB pressures, which is the most in the NFL. So Parsons, what we paid him to do, he's doing. He's a game wrecker. He's a game changer. He creates double teams, triple teams. Minnesota was triple teaming him in this game. So moving forward, I think he's doing what we paid him to do, and that's all you can really ask. We really need help on the opposite side, though, with Enigbare and Rashawn Gary. We need them guys to start doing something because Parsons is getting double and triple teamed. It opens up single single coverage over there on your side. Like, you got to be able to get by that tackle or that guard, whoever's over there. Watson played phenomenal. Watson's, man, he's been kind of our clear-cut one. I don't know. A lot of people say Dobbs. Yeah, I would say Dobbs is right up there too, but Watson has made some big catches. He's a big target. He's good hands. He's made some, really good plays for us in key moments. So him and Dobbs both have been phenomenal. I'm really excited to get Reed back here shortly. I thought he might have been back by Thanksgiving, but it's not looking like he's coming back by Thursday. So Wilson had a career day. He ran extremely hard, played extremely well. He went for 107 and 2 touchdowns. Our tight end, situation's pretty questionable. Musgrave, I don't know. He just looks lost on the field. He drops the ball. He doesn't block well. I don't know what we're going to do at tight end. Fitzpatrick actually, the little bit of time that he's been getting, I feel like he's more physical. He gives you more of that Tucker Kraft vibe than what Musgrave has given you. Musgrave, I feel like, could be more of an offensive weapon, but he doesn't block, but he's also not catching the ball. So it's just a really weird situation with our tight end situation. Expecting Musgrave to be, that guy and move into that Tucker Kraft spot, he's not filling that role. So we're going to have to figure that out moving forward. A lot of guys are hurt right now. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but, tight end for the Packers, they play such a big role because the way that we run our offense and the way that we run the ball, they got to be able to block. And when you don't have your number one tight end can't block, it does make it a little sketchy moving forward. So that's something that's kind of a little bit of a cause of concern here. And then lastly on this game, can you guys get off the McManus stuff? 2 weeks ago, I'm like, Havre, no, we don't want Havre sick. Havre, go teach. Havre, whatever. No, get off the McManus thing. The dude was hurt. He came out. He went 3 for 3. I think it was, 3 for 3 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. And, looked good. Kickoffs look good. Placed them, where they should be. And he's looking a lot healthier. And I think as a Packer fan, I get it. A lot of times we get caught up in the moment, just like any NFL team. But the guy saved our ass last year. He's been a consistent kicker for so long. And I would really want him moving forward because there's not a game or a kick that's too big in a game that he can't make. And that's my thing is I want a guy that's been there, done that. I want a vet and that's not going to fold under pressure. And I think we had that at McManus. And I think everybody was trying to write him off as a little batshit crazy, to be honest with you, because after all the shit we went through after Crosby, we couldn't find a kicker. We went with Carlson, and then every other tryout, I feel like after that was just a disaster. So, anyways, I hope everybody gets off the McManus thing. McManus is our guy moving forward. There's a reason why, LaFleur always wanted him to play even when he was hurt. It's because he's more trustworthy than Haversick. I mean, 2 weeks ago he shanked left, shanked right, couldn't make anything. So I'm kind of hoping that's kind of put to sleep at this point. But, we'll see, because you know how Packer fans are sometimes. Another thing, kind of on that subject, I catch a lot of shit because I'm not the guy. I did a podcast because I enjoy talking football. I'm a Packer fan, diehard Packer fan. Anybody that knows me knows that. But one thing I will tell you is I'm a realist. If the Packers are messing up doing something, or if we have a weakness on the team, I will call that out. I'm not being negative about the team, but I'm being real about the team. There's a lot of podcasts out there, and I'm not taking shots at anybody because I enjoy a lot of these podcasts. But a lot of these podcasts, they don't talk about when players are playing bad or out of position, or they're not stepping up or things like that. I'm going to talk about that because there's times where you need players like Rashawn Gary to step up a little bit more. He's played solid on the other side, but when you got Parsons, you should be getting more sacks. You should be getting to the quarterback more. You should have more QB pressures. And Enigbare stepped in and played okay. The loss of Van Ness has hurt us, but it's just situations like that, like our corner position. Like Hobbs has not played well this year at all. It's been a disaster of a signing by Goot this offseason. And Banks, kind of a similar situation, is not playing all that great. So the one thing I will tell you is I'm going to be a realist. I'm always going to root and I'm always going to support the Packers. And when I talk about it, I'm not talking, to create a, drama with it. It's more so I'm talking because I'm being real about a situation that, needs to be discussed, in my opinion. So I just kind of open that up for conversation amongst others. Some people attack me. That's cool. I usually just ignore the comments or delete it if it's just some random, profile with no picture or no name or whatever on it. But anyways, yeah. So that's one thing. You guys want to come at me and saying I'm negative about the Packers, blah blah blah. And I'm not. I want these guys to win more than anything right now. I want them to win the Super Bowl more than anything. And anybody that knows me knows damn well I'm telling the truth. So you can call it as you want, but I mean, if you got any questions or you want to, have a conversation about it, that's fine. Message me. We can chat. But again, I'm going to be a realist. So moving forward, we got a massive game this week. Thursday, Packers, Lions, Ford Field, Thanksgiving. I think, that's going to be the battle for the division. And I understand, Bears fans are going to hop in here and say, oh, the Bears are number one, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they are. They are number one probably until Friday. Black Friday is probably going to be the last time the Bears are number one in the division. They play the Eagles on Friday. I think whoever wins, Thursday between Detroit and Green Bay, will take possession of that, the NFC North. And I think there may be a little bit of shift here and there between those two teams, but I think the Bears are in for a rude awakening to, end their season with the teams they got to play between Philly and Detroit and, Green Bay twice. I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. I think Chicago will be good moving forward in the next couple of years. I think Ben Johnson's heading the right direction at that team, but I don't think this is their year. And a lot of Bears fans are really caught up in the fact that they're number one, but they also haven't played hardly any teams. I think they beat one team with a winning record. So again, jump into the Packers-Lions game. Keys to the game. I seen this stat today, and I was thinking about it because I was telling a buddy of mine at work that I'm like, hey, if the biggest thing is going to be the run game for Detroit and how much we can stop the run game for Detroit. One thing we have struggled against at times is stopping a team that can run the ball. There's a stat out there. This pretty much will be the epitome of what happens in this game, I feel like. Lions are 7-0 when they run for 100-plus yards. The Lions are 0-4 when they run for less than 100 yards. Packers are 6-0 when holding teams to less than 99 rushing yards. And the Packers are 1-3-1 when opponents rush for 95 yards or more. I'm sorry. Packers are 6-0 when holding teams under 95. I'm sorry. And then the Packers are 1-3-1 when a team rushes for over 95 yards. That's literally the ball game right there. I mean, I think if Green Bay is going to win this game, we're going to have to allow Micah to rush more inside with Wyatt and create havoc on the inside, because the weakness of the Lions is their interior offensive line. They are kind of patchwork at this point. They've had a lot of injuries there. They also lost their tight end Laporta, which is big because even him on the outside chipping before he goes out for a play, he's not there anymore. They're rolling with Brock Wright. Brock Wright and Laporta are on two different levels. Brock Wright's nowhere near what Laporta is. So I think that a lot of these keys to this game on defense are going to be getting pressure up the gut, causing Goff to have to force, get rid of the ball quick, because he's one of the worst quarterbacks under pressure. On the outside, when you do put Parsons out there, like I said, they can't chip with Laporta, so I do feel like he'll have a little bit of an advantage. He's one of the highest rated edge rushers against Penei Sewell, so that's kind of a nice little tidbit for us as well. So I think, though, the way that we got to attack this is attack the gut, right up the gut. Up the middle, I like Parsons on the outside because I feel like he can create havoc, but I think up the middle, trying to stop some of these big Jahmyr Gibbs plays. When they played the Giants the other night, I'm sorry, no, was that Philly? No, it was the Giants. He had like multiple runs of big yardage plays. He actually ran the one in overtime, and during the Philly game, he went. He had a lot of different screen passes and stuff like that, like the last 2 weeks, where he's been very creative on yak, getting yards after the catch, just getting the ball in the backfield and just, whether it's catch or a run. And again, he's one of the fastest players in the NFL. So there's got to be some containment. These linebackers, I'm hoping Quay Walker's back. McDuffie, Edger and Cooper, like they're going to have to know where Gibbs is at. Goff, you don't really have to worry about him running. We don't really need a QB spy. If he wants to run, let him run. But if we can stop Gibbs, the rest of this offense for Detroit has looked subpar. I mean, St. Brown's dropping balls like left and right. I don't know what's going on with him. J-Mo, you don't even know if he's on the field half the time because they barely use him. And that's really their offense. I mean, Laporta's gone, Gibbs is in the backfield. So they're not using Montgomery a ton, but if we can stop Gibbs or at least contain him to, 50, 60, 70 yards and make Goff beat us, but getting some pressure on him, I think that's going to be the way we win this game. I think we need to win this game, and it needs to be if the Packers can win this game, it's got to be a lower scoring game. I got the score being 24-17 Green Bay. And I think the key for Green Bay is to hold the Lions under 20. And that's difficult for a team that's constantly scoring 30s. So on the offensive side of the ball for us, I think Love needs to be a little bit more decisive. I think that the last game he played, when we played the Vikings, he sped the offense up a little bit. It wasn't letting the play clock constantly get down to 2-1-0. Like sometimes I feel like he will overthink, coverages and try to be too perfect with, getting everybody aligned and whatnot. I do think that when we sped the ball up and we went a little bit of like no huddle, we were able to get a little bit of, this consistent, drive going. And I think that's a key for us because I feel like sometimes, man, it just slows the game down so much and it gets us out of rhythm. So speeding the game up, I think, will help. If J Love can just stay, turnover free, I think, we can use Christian Watson. They're out on the outside corners. Their corners are not very good right now. I think they're still missing their safety, Kirby Joseph, as well. In their corners, they got a lot of patchwork stuff going on back there. I don't know who's going to be back. I don't know if Arnold's coming back. I don't know specifically. But I do know that their corners are beatable. They're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Hutch is not looking like the Hutch of old. He hasn't really been right since his injury. Since he's came back, it's going to take him some time. But if Love can stay clean, our O-line holds up, we can get the run game going. I really hope Jacobs is back. But Emmanuel Wilson's playing really well for us. I mean, if we have to lean on him, we lean on him. But I really hope that, we get Jacobs back and, try to run the ball, open up some play action. When we beat Detroit, was that 2 years ago on Thanksgiving? I think it was 2 years ago. We came out and we were and Love was ripping the ball, and it was like Toyota-thon Love. If we can get that kind of Jordan Love and get the run game going and get the play action game going and open up Christian Watson, open up Romeo Dobbs, open up some of these screen passes with Jacobs, let him get some yak yardage. Like I think that's going to be, the way that we win this game. We can't get into a shootout, in my opinion, because the way that their offense, plays in rhythm versus the way our offense, has looked. I don't think we're that capable of putting up that many points unless we, get this offense in more of like a no huddle or get a little bit more of a, speed to this offense. But we'll see. LaFleur's play calling. Also, I feel like if we get up in this game, I also feel like we need to try to put this game away. Like we need to put this team away. Just like with the Vikings last week. I think it was, I don't remember the specific score, but we end up settling for a field goal, and I was kind of like a little bit surprised. I'm like, man, why would we not? Why would we not just go for it? It was like 4th and 2, and we kicked a field goal. I can't remember the specific score, but anyways, I just thought we would have went for it and try to put these teams away, and we just let these teams hang around. And when you let teams like the Lions hang around that can put up points, quick, it's a recipe for disaster. So again, to kind of cover all that play action, if we can open up play action, get Love, keep him clean, get Jacobs rolling, or Emmanuel Wilson, whoever's in the backfield, and kind of get the play action game open. That's where we're going to win this game on offense. And then on defense, if we can just create some havoc up the middle, which I think we can with Parsons, and get to Goff and rattle Goff, I think we can win this game. And it's a big game because, like I said, whoever wins this game realistically, I think is going to be the NFC North leader going into Sunday. The Bears have gotten very, very lucky. They lead the league in takeaways. You can't depend on the other team turning the ball over constantly. You just can't. I mean, it's cool when it happens, but you can't depend on that. So I think the Bears, season, I don't want to say it comes to an end, but I think they got 6 games left. I can see them going 2-4. Shit, maybe even 1-5. It wouldn't surprise me. But again, I mean, I think they got Cleveland. I think Cleveland's probably one of their most winnable games. And then I know they got Detroit and Green Bay twice. So it'll be tough for them moving forward, but I got them at 2-4 at best. We'll see what happens. Detroit, Green Bay don't have the easiest schedule moving forward either, but this is such a big game to kind of take control over the other, which I think both these teams end up in the playoffs. If this game gets into a shootout and it's a high-scoring game, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I think the Lions win. If you're talking 31-27, I think the Lions win this game. I don't think we can go into a shootout, but I also trust our defense more than anything in this NFL right now. I think our defense is playing lights out, and the pressure with Parsons and the way our secondary is playing and the way our linebackers are playing, and we're all kind of, guy catches a ball and there's 4 or 5 Packers trying to tackle him. Like everybody's kind of buzzing around to the ball. So I think that we're playing phenomenal on defense. So I think that defense can hold us in any single game that we play, and it's shown that they have. I mean, the games we've lost, the teams aren't scoring many points either. So I don't know. I just hope this game is a good game. But I'm still taking Packers 24-17. I really hope they win this game. I deal with so much shit living here. I work with Lions fans. I'm surrounded by Lions fans. Ford Field's like an hour from me. I was offered some tickets, but it's a hard pass for me. I enjoy Thanksgiving. I enjoy it with my family. I do like my family, so I do enjoy spending time with them. And also, I mean, you guys have probably heard me talk about this. Like Ford Field's probably one of the worst fields to go see a game as an opposing team. I mean, maybe just the Packers, but I've also seen them be kind of pretty shitty and arrogant with other teams. And it's crazy to me because the Lions have absolutely won nothing, absolutely nothing. They have a couple winning seasons, and now all of a sudden they feel like they got 2 shelffuls of Lombardis in the back closet area. Like they've won nothing. So I don't understand the pure arrogance with some of this. It's not all Lions fans, but it's the strong majority. And I'm coming from somebody that's coming from somebody that, I mean, I go to a lot of games. I mean, I went to the last couple games at Ford Field, sat front row, and just the amount of like shit that you hear and people saying, even some of the stuff they say to like LaFleur and some of the players is just, it's kind of, you kind of feel embarrassed for them. But I'm straight on going to Ford Field, even though it's an hour away. I'm going to enjoy my Thanksgiving. I hope, some of my family's Thanksgiving is ruined because I hope the Lions. I would love for us to go in there and obliterate these guys. I mean, I'd love to see a 38, 10 game, and with our offense just kind of going off, which it can do, but we haven't seen it yet this year. So, but anyways, leave me a comment, shoot me a message, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Sorry I'm on here. This is what, Tuesday, I think. I'm a couple days late, but I wanted to do one yesterday. It's kind of hard with my schedule. So, but anyways, got a couple days till the game. We got some really good games on Thursday too. There's what else we got? I know we got the Chiefs playing. What do we got? Shit, I can't find it. Oh yeah, here we go. We got Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Should be some really good games on Thanksgiving all day. And then Black Friday, Bears, Eagles. Bears go down. They'll never see first in the division the rest of the season, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, go Pack, go. Leave a comment, unless you're a Lions fan, talking shit. See you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Be safe and eat a lot. See ya.